Hey, everybody, welcome to The Tipping Point. I am your host, Joanne Johnson, and I've got an amazing talent with me tonight. I'm clapping. I'm so excited. Jeremy Nunes, you guys, he is an amazing, amazing comedian. He is all over the place. His stuff is phenomenal, and we only have 30 minutes with him, so I want to bring him in right away. But before I do, let me look to the side really quick because I don't have anybody doing my technology, and you know I kind of sway like that, but I want to pull one of his clips up from Dry Bar Comedy.
But so, moved back to my hometown. Funny thing happened when moved back to my hometown. Funny thing happened when I moved back to my hometown. I actually got elected mayor of my town. Yeah. Oh, thank you. And the thing is, I ran for office as a joke. Like, I got my name on the ballot as Comedian Jeremy Nunes, and my campaign slogan was, "Put a real joker in office." Because I was like, who would vote for that person? 80% of the town. But I guess I did an all right job. I actually won an award for being one of Illinois' most ethical mayors. So, yeah, thank you. And it was largely because I issued a fine to my parents. I remember my dad calling me when he found out. It's like, "Jeremy, why did I get this fine in the mail?" I was like, "Well, your grass is way too high. You have to mow your grass." He goes, "Jeremy, you mow our grass." I go, "Well, you should have called me sooner." And what a weird job. I had to review people's resume that wanted to work for the town. You know, one guy, his email address on his resume was bankrobber247 at AOL. I was like, how creepy is that? Like, obviously, I cannot hire someone who still uses AOL.
I'm saying it uses AOL. Okay. I had to stop it. It's so funny because he's in the green room and he's watching this. And I kind of like to watch people sometimes as they're watching their own stuff. And you should see him. He's kind of like, huh, and meanwhile, my smile's this big because the bit is so good. I'm going to bring him in. I want to ask him, Jeremy, it's good to see you. How are you?
Great. How are you?
It's so funny. I was totally peeping at you. People do not like to watch themselves. It's uncomfortable, right?
You know, it's not uncomfortable for me to watch. What I was looking at was, boy, the lady that did my makeup sure made me look good.
Yeah, you were amazing. You were amazing. It's funny. Like, I don't watch any of my own shows or anything. I don't like to listen to it. Like if my husband would be watching one of my shows or something on the television and I like run through the room top speed. I don't even want to hear it. I don't know. But I am so glad that you are here. And I've got two clips for those who are just joining us. We just played one from the unbelievably talented Jeremy Nunes. And that was a clip from Dry Bar on the fact that he won mayor. So, Jeremy, you actually became the mayor of your town.
I did. And as the clip said, it was originally just a joke.
Yeah.
Just put a real joker in office. That was the campaign slogan. And I won. And so, I said 80% of the town voted for me. That is accurate. And I ran against a guy who'd been mayor for 24 years and won. And so what's crazy is I actually had all the mail-in ballots thrown out. So there might have been a different result there. I don't know.
No, if 80%, what does that tell you? I mean, what does that suggest? People just are what? They're wanting to be more lighthearted. What did you learn from that? I mean, that's so interesting to me.
We were stunned. I actually had a friend of mine is a campaign strategist. That's his day job. So he kind of ran the campaign. So the first step was no one in the history of my town had ever actually run a campaign. Yeah. So that was probably a big part of it. I think people were maybe ready for a little bit of change after the same guy had been doing it for 24 years. I was on the board. I was an alderman at the time for all of 2 years. So I'd attended a meeting a month for, 2 years. So 24 roughly 24 hours of service I had before I was put straight in to the top job. So what I like to tell people is I had 24 hours of experience and the people still trusted me, which is pretty crazy.
Trusted you.
My wife doesn't trust me with the kids. So
yeah, but you learn something too. It's like you get into these meetings, these council meetings or board meetings. There's meetings about meetings. There's meetings about having meetings. And you talk about in one of your bits, you guys were going to get like a bench. And it was a 2-hour discussion on the color of the bench.
Yes. And we decided on wood.
And you decided on wood. Awesome.
That's accurate. There's always a debate about something. You know, we the longest debate we ever had, in truth, was where we would have dinner for the Christmas party.
How long was the meeting?
We started at 7. We ended about 10:30 that night.
On where to have dinner. On where to have dinner. Oh my God.
Yep.
I don't have time. Thank you, honey. My husband just brought me some water. I'm married to the best guy in the world, or one of the best guys in the world. So he's awesome. Okay, but that's part of what you do, and obviously you're a stand-up comedian and you travel all over the place. Your stuff is amazing. I want to know first and foremost, you know, how did you get into comedy? That's something typically I ask my guests when they come on, because some people have just fell into it. Other people knew, like with me, like I wanted to be a singer when I was really little, and I wanted to be an entertainer, and I had this little toy box, and I would get up there, and I remember I was in diapers, and I totally remember this, and my mom had made me out of this some sort of a weird barrel, and she put contact paper all over it, and I got up there and I started entertaining all of my stuffed animals.
Wow.
So I knew at like I want to say I was 2.5.
That's pretty amazing.
And sad. Yeah. And but go ahead. Yeah.
You made my headphone fall out. I laughed so hard at that.
We're not here about me. We're here about you. So I'll just seek therapy for my issues later. But let's move to yeah.
I had always wanted to do it since I was a little kid, but was always afraid. You know, because the hardest part is just getting in front of people and being like, everybody be quiet. I'm going to be funny now. You know, it's such a weird thing. Right. So the first time I did it, no one laughed, not a single person, except for one guy in the front who was kind of like,
no.
I mean, that was the best reaction I got. So after a year, I was like, I will never do it again. And then a year goes by, and then, you know, I have some friends talk me into coming back up, and then I come back out. I actually win the contest the second time around. So, and then from there,
the $200 contest.
Right. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Never looked back.
So for those who don't know, and because I get excited and talk over people, that's just, I'm Italian and this is what I do. So you went up one time and it was less than awesome. You didn't get back up on the stage. Your friends convinced you, you go up. For those who haven't followed him before, so you win the $200 and you moved out of your rural town, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's true is, so you've done your research. My family owns the trailer park empire in my hometown of Dawson, Illinois. And as is small town tradition, you are to follow in the footsteps of your father and his father. So they wanted me to be sort of the landlord in line to running this thing. Yes. And so I was like, you know, I could probably make tens of dollars more if I did stand up. So here I am.
And it's working. It's working. But Jeremy, the good news is you've got something to fall back on.
I do. You know, if things go bad, you know, I can, you know, pack it up and run the trailer park. You're right. Yeah.
I mean, having a plan B these days is kind of important. So good. So we're not going to worry about you in that respect, but we know that obviously comedy is taking off for you, and your stuff is so good, and it's so relevant. And I know that everybody can relate to it. But you started, so this is a dream that you had since you were a kiddo.
It was, and then what's interesting, I was really pushed into it watching Whose Line Is It Anyway? You know, I'm 6'6". I would watch Ryan Stiles be, you know, sort of the funny tall guy.
Love him.
Yeah, and I was like, I just want to be just like him. And so that's what led me to Chicago to go to the Second City and try to learn the exact same place he learned and so many before him. And then kind of what would happen is, so in the improv world, if things go great, everybody shares the greatness. If things go bad, everybody shares in the bad. But in reality, if it goes bad, you're like, well, I know who caused the problem.
No,
You know what I
no.
mean? So eventually I graduated from Second City, performed on their stage for a bit. There was another theater there called the Improv Olympic, which has since ceased, but performed on their stage for a while. And kind of simultaneously, the Improv Olympic they regularly sort of break up the improv groups and put them with new people. So our group had just been broken up and they were considering who they would put us with. Simultaneously, my term had just ended at Second City. And at the same time, the stand-up bug was really pushing at me. I thought maybe now is the time. I'm making enough money. I can go full-time in this, put improv behind me. So that's what I did.
Improv is not easy. I do a little bit of improv, but you guys are amazing.
Well, thank you. Like I said, there's always the one guy where you're kind of, so for example, you'd be like, all right, we're hunting right now. I'm holding my shotgun, right? And then the other guy's like, that's not a gun, it's a snake. Whoa. And you're like,
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? They're still running reruns of that show. They're not in production right now, are they?
I have the same question you do. Every once in a while, I see a show that seems newer, but maybe it's not newer. I'm not really sure, but I do love it. Yeah.
And Wayne, I love Wayne too. Well, I love all of them. And I so appreciate the talent that it takes to be able to do that. When I watch them and they're talking, I mean, like you just said, everything switches every split second like that. I can't imagine keeping up with all of that. And you do that same thing. That's really something that I don't think people realize how hard that is to do.
Yeah, it's tough. What's interesting, you bring up Wayne Brady. He actually came to Second City one time when I was there and did a little workshop with us about music. Because if you remember, he was sort of the music guy on the show. And boy, I clicked with the music really quick. So to this day, a lot of times I'll get my guitar out and actually make up a song on the spot based on a suggestion. And he kind of pulled me to the side after, which it really helped me because a lot of us, when we're first starting, we're like, am I good enough to be doing this? Should I be doing that? He was like, you are the best person here. Do not let anyone tell you any different.
Wayne said that to you.
Yeah, he did. So,
wow. That's cool.
He still hasn't sent me a check though.
Well, no, I mean, that's, but again, I mean, based on some of the stimulus checks, we know that a pony is actually bringing things. So, okay, but again, we're not a political show. Oh, so if viewers don't anybody ban us, no, but so the improv, I mean, you're doing all kinds of things. And if you're adding the music to it, I'm curious, Jeremy, right now, are you like recording these and like putting them on social media?
I don't. I've thought of, actually doing it live and do like a Facebook Live right when I'm, getting ready to jump into that. But that's such a high wire act, so to speak, that I'm like, if that doesn't go so well, I don't want 10,000 people to see it. I'd rather keep it to the 200 in the room in front of me, and who knows. But
it's interesting with comedians too, and not just comedians, but entertainers and everybody. We're all having to get so creative in what we're doing. And I know I talked with Heath Harmison a couple of weeks back, and he took to TikTok. And a lot of people are doing that. And he asked me if I was going to do TikTok. I said, no. I said, my kids rather don't want to be seen with me anyway. And I'm sure that because my sense of humor is so warped that I would do a TikTok and I would start twerking or something to see. And so my kids have basically begged me, Jeremy, they're like, no, you need to never even get near TikTok at all. So.
TikTok does seem to be sort of the next platform for comedians. It just drives me nuts. Right when I sort of figure one out and start to master it, another one comes along. And I'm like, man, so I've got Facebook down pretty well. It's, I don't know, I broke maybe 2,000 followers or something like that. But, now Twitter, I'm trying to sort it out. And then as I try to sort Twitter out, I started the TikTok and I haven't posted a thing. And I have like 8 followers already.
Hey, you're better than me. Hey, that's awesome. No, I'm the same way. I'm like, okay, Facebook is what I know. I'm putting all my content on Facebook. We have an Instagram, all this and Twitter. I'm like, I don't even know how to do any of that. And I don't want to take time to do it. I'm sticking with what I know. And by the time I figure out TikTok, even if I really did it, there's going to be something coming up right behind it. And it's going to be old news.
That's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. I started tinkering around in Instagram, and I hear people say Instagram is dead. You don't even need to mess with it. And I'm like, I just started it.
Yeah. I just put my mascara on. I'm going to take a picture for Instagram. It's over. Great. Yeah. Good Lord. Well, let's talk about what is the funnest thing. What's the best thing about comedy that you dig?
Well, so I don't know if that's sort of a corny answer or not, but when people ask me that, truthfully, I believe this sort of current wave of what they call like sort of shock comedy or divisive comedy, where the goal is to have half the room walk out and half love you.
Mm,
Not for me.
yeah.
So I like to do this comedy that sort of unites and puts everyone together, and just give people an experience to forget about everything else. And so for one night, all the drama in your life, all the stress, all the pain, all the struggle is gone, and you can just enjoy the moment. And so at the end of the show, people come up and they say, "Oh, I got some really bad medical news, and my friends brought me out just to have a good time," or someone I know just died, and it's stuff like that. And they say, "You made me smile again. I haven't smiled." I had one guy say, "I haven't smiled in 5 years," and stuff like that. We're like, wow, this has a purpose. It's not just me being a goofball on a stage. It has a purpose, and a lot of comedians forget about that. I think it's critical to know that.
I could not agree with you more. And we talk about this all the time. We know that comedy and laughter is medicine and it's healing. And right now, you guys are needed more than ever before. I mean, you ever talk about essential workers and all that. I'm not trying to make light of our first responders and our hospital and employees, all that. But comedians, in my mind, are essential as well, because that craft in times like we're facing right now, when everything is so serious and all that, we need you more than ever. We need to be laughing. And like you said, to get our minds off of the junk. And there's a lot of it. I'm telling you this, because everybody knows, I've been telling everybody, I don't give out the details, but I had COVID pneumonia. I just got over it 2 weeks ago, I guess. Well, you knew about it. But I swear to you, I've gotten deep wrinkles and everything right here. And I was so sad and so frightened. And I just kept watching comedy clips and all. So just trying to heal myself.
Yeah, it's amazing what it does. There's there's no doubt about it. And the hard part for us, I think, is now we're we're so censored. Like, you even made a joke earlier, please nobody flag us. I mean, just the slightest thing, people are like, we got to flag this, we got to cancel this guy.
Mhm.
There's a meme that floats around that's it's like a father and son walking through a museum, and they see an exhibit of it's a guy doing stand-up comedy, and he says, son, this was what was called stand-up comedy. It used to be a lot of fun before too many people got offended.
Thank you.
Yeah.
These are jokes. This is all lighthearted. It's meant to make you laugh. It's not meant to make you offended. And you're right. And like, okay, I say we're not a political show. We aren't. Okay. I have never publicly said if I'm a Republican or a Democrat. It doesn't matter. But I don't want someone else deciding that for me and saying, oh, we need to censor her and all of her things because we think that she might be this or she might be that.
Yeah, I actually not long ago even I made a comment on Twitter, political in nature, and so I won't say what it was, but then here they come,
I know.
and boy, like, and they're going to every single tweet I've ever said and say this guy needs canceled, pull this guy, and I'm like, I didn't even know I said anything offensive. All I essentially said was, I don't believe that this guy's right, not this guy, So, I don't know what happened. So I'm like telling people, what did I say? And they're like, I don't, even people that are blatantly honest with me, like, I don't even know what was offensive, So that's where it's getting really scary, is when it gets to the point that we don't even know we're being offensive, and they say, shut him down.
Yeah. I know. And my husband, and he watches the Tipping Point, and he's been on my other shows that are on TV, Empower Your Body, Empower Your Mind, and Good Mood, Good Food. My husband is what I call an equal opportunity offender. And it doesn't matter who you are. He's going to say something. I'm like, you know what? You're not allowed on my shows right now, because I know you're joking, but other people don't know you're joking. Right.
Yes, 100%. So, and a big part of it, I do think, is sort of the keyboard warrior mentality. I have so much fun at comedy clubs. I'm in a very clean act. And so if I say something even remotely edgy, maybe I'll have one person just kind of give one of those. That's as far as it goes. Whereas online, it's the slightest thing remotely edgy, here we go. And the thing is, if you invite them to a conversation, they won't. So they don't want to actually sit and discuss. They just want to, sit behind a computer in their mom's basement, I guess. I don't know.
But would people like that, the keyboard warriors that you're talking about, do you think they would even say that to your face? I don't think so.
No, absolutely not. And that's the point. I have a preacher friend of mine who shut down his Facebook for that reason, because he would post stuff about Jesus, and then here they come. And he would directly invite these people. I would love to sit and have lunch with you. I will buy lunch if you just sit and talk with me. Crickets, So they won't. They just don't want to do stuff like that. Similarly, to bring it sort of full circle back to the dry bar thing, my favorite is to watch people's comments in the thread below. And 95% are people say, "Oh, this is hilarious. Love this guy." Da, 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 da. And there's always one guy who'll put, "I've seen better."
Why?
Yeah, it's like, why do you feel the need? I don't know.
So you have to picture this, because again, we bring on, game changers, national game changers, and national entertainers, actors, comedians. We're just over here having fun. One person got on the show. It's happened to me one time, and he says, "You're a communist." And I went, "Oh, I didn't know. Thank you for telling me. I didn't know. How do you respond? It's just really weird. But it's people, sometimes maybe they think they're funny, or they'll just say whatever, or they just kind of spout off at the mouth and they walk away and then go to the next person and they'll do it. I don't know. And like what you said, he's seen better. Okay, move on.
And that's sort of, I've got a TV show in the works here on a prominent news platform, and a big part of it is my goal is to show I'm going to have comedians on that disagree with me politically, and we're not going to talk politics, because my goal is to help people understand we don't have to hate each other just because we vote for somebody different every 4 years. It's going to be okay. We can unite and have fun. We can have fun, guys. It's going to be fine.
Yeah. If I said to you, "Hey, Jeremy, let's go to lunch, and there's a place I want to go to, and they have the best shrimp egg rolls," or whatever. And you're like, "Okay, I don't like that. Okay, I don't like egg rolls." Okay, super. We don't have to hate each other because of that. You can order something different. It's perfectly allowed.
Right. But you bring up egg rolls, which is Chinese, so it makes me think you are indeed communist.
Oh, you see. Okay. See? Now
that easy.
It's that easy. It's that easy. But for those who are tuning in, honest to John, you guys, we can disagree to disagree. We don't have to hate each other. If Jeremy decides he likes sunsets and I like sunrises, we can still be friends.
That's right. Yeah. And I've got a guy that regularly opens for me that absolutely votes the opposite way of me. And, we ride in a car together. We have civil discussions. We understand each other's point of view. We talk politics for maybe, if it's a long ride, maybe 20% of the ride, and the rest, and it's civil. And then the rest of the time we just talk about our families or the shows or whatnot. And we enjoy each other's company because we don't have to hate each other.
Exactly. And the fact that my parents vote one way and I vote another way, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to go hate my parents.
Oh, I don't know. Not for me. No, just kidding.
I know. Well, let's talk more, because we have a couple minutes. We've got about 5-6 minutes left. Let's talk more about what's coming up for you. I know you just mentioned the show. Are you're able to still get out and do live shows? How are things going?
Yeah. So it's different in every state. So at this part, it kind of is political. Sort of the red states are the ones I can really work in. The blue ones are the more shut down. So in Illinois, blue state, where I am from, They've just now raised the protocol. You can have 40% capacity. So comedy clubs are just now opening, though, of course, their budgets are much more limited. Corporations and churches where I normally do my shows, really not doing them yet. Whereas in sort of the red states, I'm doing a ton of stuff. I'm in the Midwest, so I do a ton of stuff in Iowa, Indiana, Missouri, So I'm in actually Iowa tomorrow night, and then I've got what we call I shouldn't say this. I've got the Speakeasy Comedy Tour going. I don't know if you followed me enough to know about that, but so when things started we shut down for what was to be 2 weeks, and then it extended. And then around May, people started to get a little frustrated. So I started partnering up with, local bars, taverns, etc., and said, you need a bar full of people. I need income. So why don't I sell tickets? I'll take the door money, and you can take all the drink money from a night full of a bar full of people. And they all took me up on it. Of course, we had to keep it on the down low. And people call it the Speakeasy Comedy Tour because we did these secret shows. And so, yes, Sunday I do have a secret show in a undisclosed location.
Okay, you didn't hear it here. We don't know.
Breaking news.
Yeah, it's breaking news. Well, last question for you today. And I encourage anybody to go to jeremynunes.com. Also, let me put this back up here again, Dry Bar Comedy, because they are so gracious and allow us to use all of the Dry Bar clips. So, shout out to Dry Bar. Thank you for that and your support of the Tipping Point. But I want to play one more clip with you. Let me do that. And then I'll bring you back in. This one is so hilarious about how it affects you being tall. If I can get it.
One of the things I don't understand about being tall, though, is like everyone asks me if I used to play basketball. Right? And I don't get it. Like nobody just walks up to a short guy and goes, "Hey, are you a jockey?" Or nobody walks up to like an overweight guy. "Hey, is there a buffet around here?" And it's the same conversation every time. People come up to me, they're shocked at my size. They'll walk up and, "Whoa! You are tall. How tall are you?" 6'6". No, you're way taller than that. Right? Nobody does that with the overweight guy. Nobody walks up to him, "Whoa! You are big. What is your waist size?" 68. No.
I'm serious. So you're 6'6". My husband Jeff is 6'8". His father 6'10". Ooh. So we get it. And I am not, by the way, I'm not 6'10". But he gets it all the time. Of course, do you get the one where you're shopping and can you reach that item for me?
All the time. And I actually have a joke. Say, "Oh, well, nobody just grabs like a short guy walking down the aisle. Like, hey, I dropped my keys. Why don't you pick those up?"
Yeah. Exactly. But it's so sad because everybody thinks they're so funny, and they'll ask you, "Well, how tall are you?" And when it's going to rain before the rest of us. Mm-hmm. My husband, and I know you've got to be the same way because you've heard them all so many times. But my husband's like,
yeah. Yeah. There's always sort of the fake laugh. I've gotten very good at the fake laugh over the years, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Listen, it has been so good to have you with us. I wish you the best of luck. You're doing an amazing job. Your comedy is helping a lot of people. And so we're grateful to you and for what you do and for answering the call, quite frankly, when it was put upon you to, hey, you're a funny guy, and to follow that passion. So thank you for what you do.
Yeah, thanks for having me. If folks are looking for a little escape, you've got the Dry Bar logo behind me there, and then my Amazon Prime special right there. Boom. So yeah, a little getaway for the weekend if you want from your own home.
Yep. Get up with Jeremy, and listen, we appreciate you coming. We'll see you again next time.
All right. Thanks, Joanne.
You guys, I love it. He is so good. Again, so jeremynunes.com. Make sure you get up with him. He's also on Facebook. He's doing all kinds of wonderful things. And again, thank you to Dry Bar Comedy for letting us use these clips. We appreciate it so much. Until next time, my loves, Go ahead and find, I'm looking to the, well, I don't know what side you're looking at, but I'm looking to the other side, trying to get my technology. Until next time, be humble, be loving, be kind, have integrity. And again, as always, lead with love.